Hi, this is Brandon with Precision Defensive Solutions,
Hi, I'm Stephanie.
and we've got some red dot quick pistols on the table, and we're going to talk a little bit about why we prefer a red dot. I mean, I think that I think there's a lot of benefit to them. So we've got some different ones. We got an HK VP9 with a Holosun 507C, a Walther PDP with a 507C, and a Glock with a 507C, and then we've got my everyday carry with a Trijicon SRO. And I know you carry with a Holosun 507C, but you like the green.
Yes.
So why do you like the green?
For me, the green sticks out more than red. And I don't know why, and I don't know if it's because I do a lot on a computer that my eyes have gotten used to different colors, and so the green just sticks out more, or maybe because my eyes are hazel and something with the rods being colored differently. I don't know. It would be something to to look at, like if people with blue eyes respond better to red versus green.
Yeah, but with my eye color too, and I like red better. So I think it really kind of boils down to just how your eyes see too. But it would be interesting to see the correlation to that. But I have come to absolutely love shooting with a red dot, and really I don't even want to shoot iron sights anymore. I still can shoot iron sights, and I shoot them perfectly fine. But there's just something about once you learn how to present the gun, see the dot, and focus on that target instead of trying to line up the sights and line it up with the target and everything else. A lot of people call it cheating. Do you consider it cheating?
No, because if you have weird eyes like I do, where I have astigmatism in one eye, which sometimes is my dominant eye, sometimes isn't. It depends on the days. And I know people will look at me like I'm crazy, but it depends. And with wearing contacts, 95% of the time, when my contacts get dry, that affects how I see. And I'm right at that cusp of needing reading glasses. I don't need them yet, but I can tell that things are changing. And when I was using iron sights, depending on what kind of sights we had, made it more difficult. I liked those were Trijicon ones, right?
The ones that had the bright orange?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then that glowed in the dark. But if we had other ones, like the Glock ones, those suck. Sorry, but they do. But having the red or green dot, having that window, once you figure out what the holdover is, just being able to put that on a target and shoot and not have to worry about, is everything lined up? It takes one more piece of the puzzle out, because it's one less thing to have to focus. And for someone who makes thousands of decisions every day, I don't want to have to make a decision, is this lined up enough?
Right. Well, one of the things that I've noticed with me, after shooting a dot for the last couple of years, when I do shoot an iron-sighted gun, I actually shoot it better. It's easier to present and make sure the gun's lined up properly, because it's just natural. Because with the dot, there's no cheating around it. You either see the dot or you don't. And if you don't, there's something wrong with your grip, there's something wrong with your alignment. And I think it really builds those fundamentals to the point where it just becomes more and more and more precise and sharper. And I think it showed even when we got your VP9SK, before we had it cut for the dot, you were just drilling hole in hole after shooting a dot, where you used to struggle with that. And so I think you're kind of seeing the same thing, that it really did make a big difference for you. Now, from a beginner standpoint, I think learning to shoot with a dot is really the way to go. Now, there's people that are just still arguing nonstop that you've got to learn with iron sights and then switch to the dot.
If you've never shot a gun before and you're doing it as an adult, it's too many things to think about. And if you, depending on what your spatial sense is, if you have to think about everything being lined up, both vertically, horizontally, all of that, and you know there's ammo in there, and if you're trying to make sure everything's lined up, you might accidentally tilt it up too far and shoot the ceiling or shoot the floor or whatever. That can become dangerous. Whereas with the dot, you put it on the target and you shoot. That makes a huge difference because it's not information overload.
Right. Yeah, I think you're right. And I mean, we see it on the range week after week after week, where people come in with guns that, you know, the sights are not that good, they're old guns, or their vision's not that good, or whatever. And then we put one of the dot guns in their hands, and all of a sudden they're just drilling hole and hole and hole. I mean, I can't count the number of people that Mike and I have absolutely convinced that the dot is the way to go.
Well, even with my Victory 20, my Smith and Wesson Victory 22 that we got, before we put the dot on it, it's a 22. It doesn't have recoil. But the sights weren't lined up from the manufacturer. So when I was shooting it, I had it lined up, but it wasn't going where it needed to go.
It was going probably about 3 inches high.
Yes. And and if you're a new shooter and you don't understand that, and then you try to compensate, that's building a really, really bad habit.
Yeah. Yeah, because and
the other one we had did the same thing.
Same thing. Yeah, it's one of those things that people have asked me numerous times that, you know, well, you know, I just need to hold lower, or I just need to do this to compensate. No, it's either your sights are off or your fundamentals are off. And if the sights are off and you can only adjust so much, you can only adjust so much. So I think, honestly, for all you new shooters out there, we're coming up on Christmas time. Likelihood is this video will be released before Christmas. I highly recommend putting a dot on your gun. There's plenty of guns that come optics ready. The VP9s, you can get them optics ready. The PDP, there is no option that is not optics ready. The Glock has the MOS versions. There's no reason not to do it.
The P365 XL.
Yep, is optics ready. The 365X, which is the original length, is now optics ready. There's just no reason not to do it.
It is a price commitment, but if you get a Holosun, don't they have a lifetime guarantee?
Yeah, and they will back up their product.
Yes, we found that out when mine decided to go wiki wonky back in April, and in the middle of a class, and yeah, that was embarrassing.
Yeah, and that was the case that when we sent it back, I mean, they said send the old one back, the one that we had. They'd send a new one out once they got it. They sent a new one out to us as soon as they saw that the tracking was coming back, and they paid for the shipping. So, I mean, Holosun's a great company to deal with. And at a $300 price point, It's not like you're going to absolutely break the bank to do it. Now, my SRO, that's a different story. Those are a lot more expensive. I mean, we're talking $550, $600 for an SRO. But for me, for my eyesight, that big open window, I love that.
Well, that's why we only have one of them.
And that's why we have one of them. But I also use a 2.5 MOA in mine, where the Hollisons are 2 MOA. But the thing about the Hollisons too is you've got the circle and you've got the circle and the dot. So if you don't like the dot, you have other options. Where with the Trijicon, you have the dot.
And as a beginner, you can give them the big circle, you can give them the dot, you can give them the circle within the dot
Yep.
to help them fine point
Yep.
their skills.
Yep. And I think probably in 2022, we will probably more and more just with new shooters just put dot guns in their hands. Just because we've seen so much success with it over the last couple of years. So that's our thought on it. Love to hear your feedback. I know we're going to probably get some trash talk on this of, well, you need iron sights, but you know what? I don't think so.
Well, if you notice, all of our guns still have iron sights on them.
Yep. I think it's a case that I think what Neil Widener said in the video today was perfect. You just need to unfudge yourself. So Neil, I'm quoting you, my friend. So everybody, think about it. If you got questions about it, definitely reach out to us. We are going to do a red dot pistol shooting course in March of 2022. We've still got a couple of seats left in that as this video is being filmed, but not many. So jump on board with that. So take care, everybody.